Before we start, I just want to say no matter how high or low the percent chance is, at the end of the day, it is subjective. Because what you are going to see here might be different from yours. It can be worse, it can be better. I'll explain more about that later. To break the level 160 wall in this game is rather easy. There are only two requirements that you need. The first one is having a 30 friends in case there is some inactive, and the second one is patience. Now let's proceed into the guide. Daily you can get about 30 friend summon currency, which means it is a 3 pulls worth of the friendship summon daily. A week you can get 210 friendship currency in total, that is 2 multis on the friendship summon alone. To reduce the randomness, we're going to round it with the assumption that within each of the friendship multi that you do, you get 1 SR and 9 R units, which translates to 1550 body level or 5 SSR molds worth. You get where this is going, right? A week you can get 10 SSR molds just from the friendship summon alone. Weekly mission gives you another 10 SSR molds. So in a week you can get 20 SSR molds. And within a month it is 80 SSR molds in total. What you are going to do here is to hoard the SSR molds up until 500 so you can open it in bulk. The reason you're going to do this is, well, it is for you to avoid getting all SR if you open it one by one, cause that happens. Now some of you might be thinking, who in the world has the time to wait for 6 months just to hoard the molds? Well, remember, we did this under the assumption that you get 1 SR and 9 R units within each friendship multi, and we haven't counted on how much body level that you get from your regular and red up inner summon. So it can be faster or it can be slower for you. It is subjective. There is also a chance that you get SSR unit here from the friendship summon, although the chance is really low, and I believe some of you might say, but I often get SSR unit from the friendship multi. And that is the part where it is subjective. If you are on the side that always gets a good result, then you might say that the chance is high or the chance is good enough. But if you're on the side that often gets the bad result, then you might curse the percent chance and say that the chance is low or the chance doesn't seem to be like it, etc. Hence why it is subjective. If you are long with the gacha game, you might be familiar with the praises that people often throw. You're just unlucky, or that is just your luck. If that is not subjective, then what is? The same with the molds result that I'm going to show you. You might get it much more better than mine, or you might get it worse. Now after you are done breaking your level 160 wall, then I wanna say congratulations and welcome you to the Cordas game. Once you upgrade your 5 units to level 200, you won't be leveling your character one by one anymore, but instead you will level your synchro device instead. It costs you 10k Cordas per level, hence why the Cordas game. I hope you use your even daily attempt to farm the Cordas box. But if you don't, then it is not too late to start doing it now. Don't worry, everyone makes a mistake or two. Speaking of mistakes, to avoid making a new one, who should you aim for from the recycling shop? In case you don't know, Noah is the only pilgrim that is available for you to buy with the regular PT in the recycling shop. Alice also isn't here, and some other names that I couldn't remember. But to tell you who is worth buying here, then the first one would be Maxwell. She is basically the regular version of Snow White and being used a lot in the competitive contents or just bossing in general paired with Alice. One thing for sure is that you won't regret getting her to MLB and investing in her gears. The second one will be Guiltin. I said this long way before she gets her buff, and people are like ignoring me except one of my guildmates. But anyways, basically Guillotine is the single target burst and regular version of Scarlet. Under the same investment, from what I see from my guildmates who recently have built them, Guillotine is side by side with Scarlet in terms of damage and the bossing contents. So if you don't have Scarlet, using Guillotine on bosses will do the job. Sugar can also hit hard on bosses with the how she boosts herself, including her own hit rate. But if the boss is too far, then she might encounter some problems. Then there is also Festi. I'm going to call this that Festi burst is the regular version of Modernia burst. Of course, unlike Modernia, Festi is using RL instead, which we can even compare to how hard Modernia normal hit is. But in terms of burst, Festi is as good as Modernia if you are lacking a good AoE damage. The names that I just mentioned are basically the units that I think will be future-proof, looking at how they are dominating in the contents, especially for Maxwell. Unfortunately, I don't have many units to show you, and I don't have the privilege to showcase it to you either. But I believe there are people who already put a showcase video about them here on YouTube, so you can search them up and judge it by yourself. One thing for sure is, investing in Maxwell is definitely worth it. Now, if you are wondering, as for the support body spare, it is pretty much a sub-priority really. It is better for you to just wait and save until newer units get added here. The only reason you want to pick for support body spare is just for the battle power boost to lessen the penalty in chapters.